How's it going, trainers? So 2023 is quickly approaching, and I think it's time we start talking about the next big event coming to Pokemon Go. So join me today as I speculate some features for the next entry into the tour series, the Pokemon Go Tour Hoenn. Welcome back, everyone. So I know this isn't something that's on a lot of people's radar right now, but it's likely that if the Hoenn Tour is coming, it's going to be announced pretty soon. Both the Kanto and Johto tours were announced in early December, and because we got a sequel to the Kanto tour earlier this year, it's fair to assume that we'll have a Gen 3 version in 2023. So for this video, I'm going to go through some features that I think we could see for the Hoenn Tour event. Keep in mind that this discussion is purely speculative, so nothing I say is 100% confirmed by any means. So with that out of the way, let's kick things off with when the Hoenn Tour will take place. So the past two tour events have happened around Pokemon Day, which is February 27th. Now the Kanto Tour was held on February 20th, because Pokemon Day was the following Saturday. Then the Johto Tour took place on February 26th, which was the day before the anniversary. Now since Pokemon Day will be on a Monday next year, I believe that if it happens, the Hoenn Tour will take place on Saturday, February 25th. It makes sense that one of the biggest events in Pokemon Go would take place around this point to add to the celebrations. So with that in mind, I would maybe consider making accommodations if you have work or other plans that may interfere with the event. Next up, let's talk about exclusive Pokemon. So as I said before, the Go Tour events are celebrations for the respective generations. All the Pokemon from those gens appear either in the wild, raids, or research. However, some of these Pokemon become exclusives depending on which path you choose. Since this is the Hoenn event, I think it's a safe bet that Ruby and Sapphire will be the two paths we'll have to choose next year. And that will determine which exclusive Pokemon we can catch, and which Pokemon will have boosted shiny rates. Now in the main games, you can find Seedot, Mawile, Zangoose, Solrock, and Latios in Ruby, as well as Lotad, Sableye, Seviper, Lunatone, and Latias in Sapphire. Now since both the Kanto and Johto tours featured their exclusives on their respective paths, there's a good chance that these will be the exclusives for the Hoenn Tour. Now something interesting about these exclusives is that the Hoenn region was the first gen to have a second exclusive legendary besides the mascots. With the exclusives appearing through incense encounters, it's possible we might also find Latios and Latias as well. That would be pretty hype considering they've only been raidable legendaries. Now in terms of new shiny Pokemon, there's only a handful left in the Hoenn region. As of right now, there's only 11 base forms left to release, including Surskit, Gulpin, Torkoal, Cacnea, the Sun and Snow forms of Castform, Tropius, Relicanth, Keckleon, and Jirachi. If the tour event indeed happens at the end of February, it's possible we could see a few more of these Pokemon get their shiny release before the event, but that'll still give us a decent amount of new shiny Pokemon to hunt during the tour. Of course, Jirachi would be a special research encounter, so that one wouldn't be released early regardless. Now of course, this wouldn't be a Hoenn speculation without talking about Keckleon. This Pokemon has been long overdue in Go, though it's been previously said by Niantic that they wanted to release it right. Though after years of waiting, it's more than likely that Keckleon will debut in Go through the Go Tour Hoenn. I mean, every Pokemon's gotta be featured, so there's no way it can be skipped this time. So how are they gonna release it? Well, my best guess would be for it to be available through snapshot encounters. During the Johto Tour, players had access to Smeargle through photobombs, regardless if they had a ticket. Considering how long they've made us wait for this Pokemon, I can't imagine they would lock it exclusively behind a ticket. But that being said, the tour events also release all the previously unavailable shiny Pokemon for that region, so I could see them making shiny Keckleon the guaranteed encounter from the ticket special research. And honestly, I'd be okay with that, but as long as they give everyone a shot to get it, regardless of their ticket status. Considering how rough the relationship between Niantic and the community is, I think it would be a huge mistake to make it exclusive to the ticket. But moving on with our Hoenn speculation, another feature I hope we see is the debut of a brand new evil team. Gen 3 introduced us to Team Aqua and Team Magma, the first non-Team Rocket groups since Pokemon's origins. Now adding these teams for the Hoenn Tour would not only add a refreshing twist to the Evil Team mechanic, but it would also make the Hoenn Tour a more immersive experience. Plus, I can't imagine it would be really hard to do, just add some new models and update the text. But I think adding them to the event would both be a great feature and take the Evil Team mechanic to the next level. Next, let's talk about raids. During the past 2 tour events, we've seen some interesting raid bosses. We've seen Unknown in 1 stars, Regionals in 3 stars, and every generation's Legendaries in 5 stars. If they end up doing 1 stars for the Hoenn Tour, I could see them including the various Weathercast forms, or even Keckleon as another method to get it. As for 3 stars, it's fair to assume that Torkoal, Tropius, and Relicanth will be appearing here. You know, since they're the Hoenn regional Pokemon. Finally, for Legendary raids, there's a lot they could do. With the Kanto Tour, there were 4 Legendaries and raids, and the Johto Tour had 5. Now for the Hoenn region, there's 8 different Legendaries, plus the mythical Deoxys for a total of 9 possible raid bosses. That's certainly going to make raiding for specific bosses fairly difficult, especially if you have 1 to 3 star raids running alongside them. But that being said, there's a way to make the 5-star raids work. If the event runs for 12 hours like the past 2 years, they could break them into 3 rotating blocks with 3 Pokemon each. One block could have Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza, another would have Registeel, Regirock, and Regice, and the final block would have Deoxys, Latias, and Latios. I think this method is the best way to handle the Hoenn Legendaries, as it would give them an equal opportunity to appear in raids, while also making it easier for trainers to hunt for specific Pokemon. Now speaking of raids, the last feature I want to talk about are Hoenn Mega Raids. We already have a few of these Megas in the game at this point, but there's a lot of anticipated unreleased Megas like Metagross, Gardevoir, and the 3 starter Pokemon. Though with all the Legendaries and Regionals in the Hoenn Tour raids, I'm not sure they'd want to further crowd that space with new Megas. However, I do think it could be appropriate to release some of these Megas before the Hoenn Tour. Either they could have a Hoenn prep event leading up to the tour, or even just have the starters rotate in Mega Raids throughout the month. A prep event seems likely though, since we had the Pokeball prep rally before the Johto Tour, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So guys, that's going to be it for our speculation about the Go Tour Hoenn. I hope you enjoyed the discussion, and if there's any features that I didn't mention that you think might appear, then be sure to let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the speculation, then consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Now if the Hoenn Tour does indeed come to fruition, then you can bet that we'll be covering it more this winter. So until next time, thank you all so much for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.